You're listening to Ka-Pow, the pop culture podcast. Comics, television, movies, and more. If it impacts fan culture, we have something to say about it. And now, your hosts,
Coach Mayor,
Jordan, Cliff, and Seth.
Seamless integration. Welcome back, everybody, to Ka-Pow, the pop culture podcast. My name is Jordan Lowe.
Cliff Barnes.
I'm Seth. He's back.
If you didn't hear it in the intro, Jared's here.
I'm here. Seamless integration was my campaign motto. Happy to be here. How are you?
Welcome back, Jared. It's good to have you.
Thank you.
We haven't done a regular just sit around the table, talk about what we watched and such regular episode in quite some time.
Long time.
Guys, I have stopped the
Seamless
presses.
integration.
Stop the presses. I went viral.
You went viral.
Everybody see that?
Oh, right.
Yeah. Neil Peart died. And I
And
must have
you
been
made it all about you.
and I'll never forget it. I'll never forget the moment Neil Peart died, and I must have been the first person to find out about it because I saw it on Twitter, had me on there, and I just 5 seconds, just nothing. Nobody follows me. Seriously, I don't know even how this happens if nobody follows you. There's 50 people following me, but it's mostly people that just want you to follow them. I'm not on there for followers, I guess. I'm on there to follow other people. So anyway, I was just I was like, I'm going to look up a picture and just post something. And one of the first pictures that came up was aerial view of his drum set, which is, of course, famously the most intricate,
Ridiculous.
out of control drum set ever, and it had an empty stool in the center, and it sticks on the snare, and I was like, "Ooh, that's a good one." And I just put "Rip to the Goat" and posted it, and my phone exploded. And Nick was like, "Are you going viral?" I was like, "I think I'm going viral." I was like, "This has never happened to me." He's like, "Are you going to shut that off? Shut the sound off." I was like, "Are you kidding me?" It's like, I'm not even going to take a nap before work now. I'm just going to sit here and listen to this thing ding. It was amazing. But anyway, it doesn't sound too crazy when you read these stats until you get to the bigger stat. But I had 369 retweets. Every day, somebody still likes. I'm at 1,287 likes. But when you look at the tweet activity, this is what got me. The number of times people saw this tweet on Twitter. 273,266. Wow. I was like, are you kidding me? So that was exciting. That's an anecdote.
Wow.
You ought to try it out sometime.
Did you mention the podcast at any point?
I do. All I can think is that Cliff is going to kill me that I didn't tag us or something.
Now, tweet a picture of our logo.
The magnet.
The magnet.
Yes.
The magnet.
Yeah.
And see how many 100,000 views that gets.
Yeah, really. Oh, it was funny. Anyway, so it was just one of those things. I'm like, well, he's the best ever, so
And and it's all about if you're the first to hear it.
Yeah, it just happened to be on there right after.
I think we did the similar thing when Stan Lee passed away. I shared on the Ka-Pow page almost immediately, and it got a whole bunch of traction because it's that immediate shock. You want to click and let everyone know you've heard it.
Yeah, people were thanking me. Oh, thanks for sharing that picture. I took it. I didn't take this picture. I Googled it. Anyway, so what are we doing tonight?
I'm turning 40.
Oh my God, turning 40.
Lordy. We're recording on my birthday. No place I'd rather be.
Good, because we almost had you somewhere else.
Jared brought some cupcakes.
That's right.
Well, that reminded me of childhood birthdays. If you remember how our birthdays were scheduled.
Oh, yeah.
Justin was born January 4th, my older brother.
Yeah.
I was born the 17th of January.
Yes.
So very close to Christmas.
Right. That's awful. How awful was that?
Somehow we were convinced by my mother that was bad, and we didn't need to get a present till the summer.
What?
Because who needs a present?
Too close.
Who needs a present a week after Christmas? And we bought it hook, line, and sinker, I guess. So,
oh my gosh!
We would get
I thought I had an anecdote. Go on.
We would get our presents in July, and it was always a surprise. I never remembered. So, like 4th of July, happy 4th of July. Here's your birthday present.
You didn't remember that it wasn't your birthday?
Yeah, it was literally a surprise every year.
It was your unbirthday.
So then along comes third child here, Jared, born in June.
Yeah. I was allowed to have.
Right, you had your actual birthday.
That is BS. You should have got an extra present at Christmas.
So, well, listen to this. So June comes along. He has his birthday. Yep. July comes around very shortly after. Hey, it's the other brother's birthday. He started flipping out. I was like, what? How come they both get presents and I don't? Yeah. And instead of explaining to him how the calendar works and how math works and how aging works, it's like, okay, just get him a present too. So a month after his actual birthday, on our fake birthdays, he always got a present.
Yeah. It worked out really well.
I got to tell you, it's as much his birthday as it is yours.
So I've never put a whole lot of stock into birthdays. I don't really celebrate them all that much, but yeah.
It's a big one, though.
Here we go.
This was what the Goldbergs episode was about this week.
Yeah, well, it was Murray's second 50th birthday.
Yeah, and he was saying how he's like,
that guy's only 50?
Wow.
And I'm 40? Dang, that's old.
His character is.
It's a long decade.
Well, let's talk some TV.
All right.
What in the good Lord is going on?
Nothing. Them just some fellas I play car pranks with.
The worst thing about prison was the Dementors.
Nobody exists on purpose. Nobody belongs anywhere. Everybody's gonna die.
There are no strings on me.
So if you want to make more money and keep the money that you make, better call Saul. He looks like a panda and a Disney princess had a baby.
Somebody royally forked up. Somebody forked up.
Randall! Okay, stay in your room!
First I thought you and the others were gods. Then I realized you're just men. And I know men.
You guys, look at my dirty girl.
Roll on snare drum. Curtain. Good joke.
What's There Are No Strings on Me? What's that?
It was from Legends on the CW.
Because I'm like, that's all I can think of is James Spader as Ultron. I'm like, I couldn't play. No, now I know why.
Wrong universe.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they stole our line. Anyway, the Goldbergs, he was saying how what was like his dad kind of downplayed the birthdays or something.
Yeah,
it was never a big deal because it just kind of had a negative connotation, and he was seeing how it could be a good thing. So we're gonna take you to see Bad Boys, and you can have like a good birthday finally.
That's right.
We got to go see it in July.
Yeah. We're gonna rent it. What's everybody been watching on TV?
Well, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, but we were just talking about, so we might as well get it out of the way. New show that I watched and then made you watch on NBC called Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist.
Yeah.
All Zoe wanted was a connection.
I have lots of ideas.
Why should I listen to you?
I'm sorry, where was I?
What she got was so much more.
I think I'm going crazy. 1 second I'm getting an MRI, and the next second... Is it supposed to be happening? People are singing to me.
We go together.
Almost as if they were singing what they were all thinking out loud.
This is the first thing that I find interesting about you.
Zoe can hear people's innermost thoughts through song.
Do it win, no matter what. Wait, are you hearing the song right now?
Yes, and the music's in my head.
All I see is a bunch of mostly white people drinking overpriced coffee.
She has this unique power that she has to learn how to harness.
Why are you so distracted all of a sudden? Keep your personal life to yourself. It's about how we express ourselves and love and family.
Because of whatever this new ability is, I discovered that my best friend is in love with me.
I think I love you. What?
It's a,
what's her name?
Zoe.
She was in a movie. There was a movie a couple of years ago and saw where there was don't. I don't know. We don't know her name or the movie, but where there was a blind guy in the house and they went in there and tried to steal something. And
Don't Breathe.
Yeah, Don't Breathe.
Yeah.
And I can't remember her name. I was thinking it was Jane something.
She was in a show called Suburgatory a few years ago too. If you remember.
Yeah, maybe it is.
Show.
Called what?
Suburgatory.
Okay.
Jane Levy.
Yeah.
Wasn't she in that?
Yep, you got it.
That was from a few years ago.
Yeah, so just the first episode has come out since at the time of the recording, but this is, also has Peter Gallagher, John Clarence Stewart, Mary Steenburgen, Lauren Graham, Skylar Aston, which he was in the Pitch Perfect movies, and Alex Newell plays the neighbor lady. So.
She's basically bitten by a radioactive Spotify.
Pretty much, yeah. She
hears a playlist in her head
while she's getting an MRI.
Yeah. You know, if you've ever had one, they play music for you. Well, there's an earthquake when it happens early on in the episode, and it's not important. We're just trying to get the point across that now in her real life, as she's walking around, when she sees people, they're singing songs and dancing around. It's just
according to what they're feeling. Yeah.
So that's what she sees, and it's just an excuse to have a show where people sing and dance.
Yeah, it's a musical.
That's fine. It's a clever idea. I don't have any, I guess it's just like it started out pretty rough.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
It was an hour episode. I don't know if this type of show is. I'd be surprised if this show is normally going to be an
I don't
hour.
think it will, just because of the money
pilot.
It'll take to get the rights to all these songs.
Yeah, well, I'm just thinking as far as a regular episode,
story-wise.
I would think it feels like more like a half-hour show, but anyway.
But yeah, what we're trying to say is I felt it got much better as it went along.
It got better.
And it had some good parts to it.
It did.
Some emotional parts.
Even the predictable,
even
the predictable things were still
good enough.
Little jerk at your emotions. So
yeah, my wife was looking forward to this one, so she was watching, and I caught about the last half hour of it. So I thought it was, if you're into the musical kind of thing, I thought it was pretty much what you'd be looking for.
It was fun. I will definitely watch the next one.
Yeah, me too. I'll give it a couple.
If Cliff reminds me, I'll check it out. They take like a month off till the second episode. So anyway, what else did we watch?
Sticking with NBC, just go right through it. This Is Us, latest episode.
This Is Us. Me and Cliff watching this show. I don't know. It's always got some moment. I'm just on the edge of my seat for next week.
Yeah.
First off, I'm crying because John Legend was singing to me.
Right. Yeah. At the Hollywood Bowl.
I know. Those are ridiculous. It's totally unrealistic, but I still like what.
Yeah. Yeah. And there were a couple things I didn't know how well I was going to like the storyline with the baby. And being blind and all that. Yeah. But they've made it interesting.
You don't watch the show, do you? No. Does your wife watch it? Does Valerie watch it?
No, we haven't watched it.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
She keeps saying, I will probably start that one of these days. But
jeez, it's a phenomenon. So
But yeah,
I mean, that's just crazy because I feel like I have to keep up with it, and I'm not. So, that doesn't come up in my normal conversation. But I do work with a bunch of girls, and so I was like, forget it. I'm just gonna. I work with you, and I'm around Cliff. I'm just gonna go and watch the show.
And it's the show that, like, we sit down. Maybe it's after dinner or whatever, and my wife makes it a point, like, "Oh, we haven't watched This Is Us yet," and pops it on there. I'm like, okay, whatever.
Get a good cry. That's a good cardio after you eat.
I always liked that show, Parenthood, with Craig T. Nelson.
Mm-hmm. It's a great show. Yeah,
absolutely.
We did watch all those.
It really has that feel. Okay. I honestly say they pull off some of the tearjerk. It's got more of that than Parenthood did. Like. And I like that. I like the emotional stuff, So they do some of that. There's things I like better about Parenthood, but because I'm more attached to it. It went for many, many years, and I liked all those characters. But
this one with the multiple story,
I love the time stuff. Yeah. This is what this has is they jump around in time, and I love that. Yeah. You'll just be totally blindsided thinking you're watching something that you're not.
Yeah.
Anyway, this was a fine episode, but you were discussing that the one kid that we saw at the beginning of the season,
as a grown person,
and
here we're back into he's a baby still and just
right.
a few months old, and,
that was interesting,
and the stress that's putting on. But I like their interaction between Toby. That guy's a pretty good actor. Like I dig him. And then, but the big storyline right now, I think, is the mom and her diagnosis, I guess, with dementia.
Yeah.
Or at least the beginning of it.
Yeah, so, the end of the
Mandy Moore.
The mid-season finale was really good about that, jumping around when you thought it was happening and when it wasn't. That was great. And so we'll see where this goes. I thought they were doing a lot of setup in this episode for the rest of the season, and the preview for next week was very good. Sterling K. Brown is just like he's on the verge of tears in every scene he's in. He's always just like welling up, and and he's so intense. And to see what's happening next week, I'm psyched.
So, okay,
guy, the thing I'm most excited on network TV for right now, and I don't think any of you probably care about this, but the next season of Survivor.
The fire is burning, and when this is through, one soul will survive. It's coming for you.
It's the biggest battle in Survivor history. 20 returning winners.
Coming back out here, I can feel my blood starting to rise.
It's like the Super Bowl 20 years in the making. I was diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma. It is a miracle that I'm sitting here today.
I met my wife on Survivor. We have 4 daughters. It'd be really messed up if they have to see Daddy vote Mama off.
Survivor's ready. Go! They'll compete in epic challenges.
Winners at War is underway.
Face the return of the Edge of Extinction. And encounter a new twist that will completely reset how the game is played.
Fire tokens add yet another layer of duplicity that did not exist before.
It's season 40. We've had 39 seasons. It's been 20 years. They did an all-star season in season 8, which has had a lot of popular players, a couple winners. Then in I think season 19, maybe Heroes versus Villains, they had mostly popular all-star players, a lot of popular players. But they've never had like winners, very many winners in one season. And they've always people have wished for this, but after season 39 being possibly could have killed the show by the controversy of like sexual harassment and stuff, it was like, ugh, is this going to be the end? But I think this is going to save it. They had already filmed this season 40 that'll be coming out this next month.
Boy, is the show so difficult and tiring, and if you won $1 million, would you want to go back and do it again?
But plenty of people have.
Yeah.
Yes.
If it's that grueling,
they like the challenge.
Yeah.
They want to see if they can do it again. They want to prove themselves that it wasn't a fluke. There's been a 2-time winner, one of them. And this year there will be another one because it is a season. There's been 39 seasons, and there will be
Jennings.
There will be 20 players this season, and every one of them has won a season. That's very. If you're a fan of this stuff, that's crazy that they're able to pull that off and even find 20 people out of those last 39 that can go back out there. So there's only like 2 or 3 people that of the other winners that I wish were there. They really picked the cream of the crop, so it's going to be great. There's a husband and wife that have each won. They met on the show, got married, have 4 kids, I think. Somehow they're left all those kids at home and are coming back out. If you've ever heard of Boston Rob, I'm sure he's very embedded in pop culture, but him and his wife are both going to be on there. It's like, it's just, I'm excited about it. All Survivor fans are, so that's probably the biggest announcement that happened.
I watched a show, just started a new show that I didn't know existed. It's from 2014 and 2015, 2 seasons. It was on FX. Apparently my wife watched the first season one weekend, and I had no idea. I must have been working. But it's called Married. Have you guys
Never heard
seen
of it.
this? No? It
Nope.
It is Judy Greer, who I like. Nat Faxon plays the husband.
Oh, I watched some of that.
Brett Gelman is great. Always great. He's really good in it. And then Jenny Slate, John Hodgman are in it. But it's a neat little take on marriage, and you know, they their husband and wife relationship, but the way they kind of, I don't know, it's got a realness to it. The just kind of disdain, the resentment sometimes they have for each other, but then they have the husband has these friends in Jenny Slate and Brett Gelman, who plays AJ, and they are just kind of off the wall characters. Jenny Slate's married to Paul Reiser, so she's married to this much older man, but it's a fun show. It's a little bit, it's not a family show, it's a little bit more adult, but yeah, Married on FX. I'm almost through the second season, so in the last couple days, but I thought it was really good for something I'd never heard of and missed, and apparently a lot of other people must have too. So
what have you been watching, Jared? Doesn't have to be recent.
No, 2014, 2015.
I was worried.
It's all good.
A couple of things we were watching, or we just recently finished season 3 of Amazon Prime's Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. What?
You're in the wrong category.
That's TV.
Rookie.
Oh, is that streaming? Oh,
it's all streaming to him. We got another
one.
Michael. Oh, no. I'm filling the shoes. Gotta watch TV. Jeopardy. I was watching the Jeopardy
that was good.
Championship. Yeah,
talk about that.
It was good.
Did you guys watch that?
No, just didn't get around to it. But
you know, to me, I like to watch Jeopardy, and I can usually get some of the questions. You know, Robert Todd Lincoln. I'm all over it.
Well, there's an anecdote we didn't tell.
Yeah,
but. These ones were tough, man.
They were crazy. Yeah, I agree. I was watching it and thinking, when I watch Jeopardy, sometimes in the mood, I'm going to try to shout them out to get them before they can say them, and you can usually do quite a few in an episode, but not on this.
They were so quick, you didn't have a second.
No way.
They even sped up the final Jeopardy. It's like, I need a second.
Yeah, it was crazy.
And I don't like the jumping around the board. Like I would prefer to just do it by category. But
I loved that Ken Jennings came. Like, okay, we're gonna have to play like you. Yeah. I mean, that's who I wanted to win. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So yeah, that was good.
Definitely.
I had a premiere on HBO, The Outsider.
Yes,
based on the Stephen King novel
from last year or the
very
year before.
Recent, very recent novel.
I had not read the book. I knew someone that had that she really liked it, but I never got around to it. And I was like, that's all right. There's gonna be a show. I'll watch that. And I really liked. There was first 2 episodes they premiered. Ben Mendelsohn and Jason Bateman,
which is the main reason I watch, because I like both those actors quite a lot. So I thought,
exactly,
that's worth a watch. Yeah,
great actors.
And Bateman directed the first 2.
Yeah. He's great. I love to watch him. I can't wait till Ozark comes back, because he's just very watchable.
But it's very dark. It's about the murder of a child, and they think they have an open and shut case. They have the evidence that it was Jason Bateman who did it, and then evidence comes out that he was in some other place. So they have completely opposite evidence that both proves he did it and didn't do it. So knowing it's a Stephen King story, I'm assuming there's something supernatural in the works, but they haven't really gotten into the mystical side of things yet. It's just been kind of a dark procedural so far.
We haven't even seen Cynthia Erivo, who's a newer actress in the last couple of years as far as putting herself on the map. I've seen her in a couple things that she was really good in. So so I'm looking forward to her showing up on the show. I really enjoyed it. Now I wanted to ask you, sort of off air, my son and I watched the first episode together, and then we watched the second one separately. And he came in, he's like, I gotta admit, I was watching it, and I'm at the end of the episode, and I realized that someone had died. And he was like, I did not realize that they had died, and it was just like known at the end of that episode. And I was like, the same thing happened to me. Like, I felt like however it was edited, I did not realize that this character had died. Did
like
you?
The big death that happened? Yeah, because I was kind of shocked that it was a.
Well, I went back. As soon as
death.
they said something, I rewound back and watched it again. It is not clear. I mean, there's one thing said, but you know, I might have been on my phone.
That's where
I would say we were both on our phones when we watched it separately. But anyway,
yeah, it's hard to blame the filmmaker.
Well, you have to take into account that people might be on their phone.
This is prestige TV.
Anyway, it's good. I'm really looking forward to the rest of the season. And I constantly think, why am I paying so much for HBO every month? It's because they've always got that one show going.
Oh, no.
That I have to watch.
Yeah.
And so I can't get rid of it. And this is the current reason.
Yeah.
I didn't. I'm not. It's not my favorite thing on TV right now, but it's definitely enough of a mystery,
Right.
and it was well made enough, and I like the actors enough that I'll.
It has a True Detective feel to it. Also, if you have a good True Detective feel.
I wanted to catch up on. I mentioned Stumptown when it first premiered. It's a show on ABC based on the graphic novels from Oni Press. Kobe Smulders is a Army veteran who comes home and ends up becoming a private investigator. It's got Jake Johnson as her BFF. Kind of the will they won't they. They hooked up one time way in the past, and now they're just we swear it's all platonic, but there's a lot of chemistry there, so the show's going to play that crazy.
Sure.
I think I talked about the pilot. I said it was decent, had some interesting things. I think it's gotten pretty good.
Okay.
For a network show, it's very procedural. Each episode is a new case that she's on. So, they wrap it up by the end of the hour, but there's dangling plot threads and stuff. But it may not be prestige TV, but it's worth a watch every week. And I like both the actors. They have terrific chemistry. There's always something interesting. There's really good music. There's a gag. She drives this old beater car, and she has a tape stuck in the tape deck. So anytime she's in the car, car chase starts. They hit a bump and the tape starts playing because she can't get it out of the tape deck. So there's always good music cues, and it's had a whole bunch of good actors in it already. There's only been 8 or 10 episodes, but they've already had Austin Emilio, who played Dwight in The Walking Dead, who got his face ironed off. Jay Duplass, one of the Duplass brothers from Room 104. Zosha Mamet from Girls. Donald Logue, our favorite actor from so many things.
Yeah, did you guys watch Terriers?
No, but that's the show I couldn't think of many episodes back. It was like a one season.
I would like to watch that. Anyway.
Yeah, that was on a whole bunch of the best of the decade lists.
That makes me want to really watch that.
One season. But he played, a lot of people brought that show up about this show because he plays like an aging private investigator. And that's what he played on Terrier. So it's like, it's almost like that character's continuing story on here. Janine Garofalo had Mike Epps. And the villain was in a couple episodes. Was a man named Colin Cunningham, which you might not know, but he was also the villain in a little show called Blood Drive.
Oh my God.
Not even close.
Nice try.
I got very excited. I was like, that's the cover of Blood Drive.
Wow.
So a very solid network drama. I'm enjoying it a lot.
Speaking of ABC, I'm sure you guys didn't watch it, but I had said before I really enjoyed when they did those live redoings of All in the Family, and they did Jeffersons. Well, then last month they did, like a week before Christmas, they did another episode. Norman Lear and Jimmy Kimmel presented there. I mean, that guy's in his 90s. These are the shows he's created way back, and they did another episode of All in the Family. It was a Christmas episode, and they did a Christmas episode of Good Times.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And It was really cool. I said before that Eddie Murphy owns that painting from Good Times. It's called Sugar Shack, and his estate donated it for the show, and it was in the room again when they filmed that stuff.
You know what was interesting? I watched this, I think, on Christmas Day. I was just kind of looking.
Well, that'd been a good time to watch
in the afternoon for something to watch. My parents were at the house, and so I turned it on, and my mom's like, "What is this?"
that's confusing.
It really did, and she was like, "Why are we watching this?" She's like, "I watched it the first time," and I was like, "Well, I was like, well, it's kind of neat, and it's live, and they're trying to bring it back, and show how some of the same issues are happening today." And she just did not enjoy it at all. I made him sit there. It was
really cool because they picked you forget how political those shows were, and they honestly, shows don't do that. Sitcoms don't do that like this anymore, and it was really interesting. You're saying Miss Fletcher. You and I both watched Miss.
Yeah, we watched Mrs. Fletcher.
Was that HBO?
Yeah, HBO. Right? It was.
Name, I feel bad.
It was fairly short.
Yeah, it was
not a lot of episodes.
6 or 8 episodes the most.
Yeah, this is Catherine Hahn.
Yeah.
She plays the title character.
She divorced, and her son is going to college.
Yeah,
and she's just trying to rediscover what she's going to do with her life here.
Right. She's obviously been kind of a little bit of almost like a helicopter parent, but her son is super
douchey.
Yeah, just horrible. And
he's going to college and being faced with that as he goes there and everybody just treats him like that. Where the archetype he works great in high school.
Sure, yeah.
But not in college.
But the minute he's out of high school,
and he's, got a problem. He's trying to deal with it.
Yeah, her son's played by Jackson White. And I thought he did a good job.
He did do a really good job of walking that line of still being that kind of guy, but trying to learn and, whether he pulled it off or not.
Right.
It was good. It was better than I thought it was going to be.
She plays she's like a director at a nursing home or assisted living or something. And there's some emotional stuff there. But, she's faced with, finding a life that she doesn't have. She's suddenly alone. A lot of it is just about loneliness. And it can be a weird age, and when you reach your 40s.
Yeah.
And, go on. And suddenly, for a lot of us, suddenly our children they become adults and are going off to find their own lives, and then it's like, well, now what do we do? So it's a lot of that. It's just, what happens when you mask your own needs for a really long time just with caring for somebody else. But it's had an interesting cast. Owen Teague played, he was the kid that graduated high school with her son, but she goes out and starts to take a local class and meets some oddball characters through the class, and he's in the class. And then Casey Wilson and Katie Kershaw are in this also. But yeah, my wife really enjoyed this show a lot more than I thought she would. And it's got some, there's some stuff in it that
I was wondering how you're going to describe it.
There's some stuff
There's some stuff in it, guys.
Yeah, that is adult oriented, but some drug use and some sexual stuff that you don't want little ones to be around maybe in the same room, but we
break it out.
Yeah,
Carly, go to your room.
That's right. But we highly enjoyed it. I hope it comes back. Had a cliffhanger ending there, pretty big deal there. That
I got a segue for you. Watchmen.
Yeah, doesn't look good for season 2.
Speaking of not coming back.
Yeah, we got that on the list under the wire. See, if we'd have waited, we wouldn't have been able to declare it a great show.
But I'm okay with that.
I totally agree.
Yeah,
I dread the thought of them bringing back and doing a worse product.
Yeah,
watch it gradually decline.
Lindelof seems honest about it. Like, I don't have a good idea for season 2, so I'm not just going to make it just to make it. So that seems to be his stance, and HBO seems to be okay with not pressing.
That's what amazes me, that HBO isn't like, nope, we're going on, plug in someone else.
Because after season 1 of Westworld, it was kind of the same situation. Is there going to be another year? You know, they didn't have anything written or prepared, and HBO just kind of, well, yeah, there's got to be a season 2. So
you haven't been on since we've talked Watchmen. What was your impression?
I thought it was great. Yeah, I was right along with you guys.
Best of the decade worthy.
Yeah, I think
for one season.
It earned it.
The fact that it's only one season really cemented it as having had to have been on there.
Yeah, I still struggle with like someone that is not familiar with the comic. Like, what?
How could they?
What were they? Did they have any idea what any of that was about?
I don't see how. I mean, some people are gonna. They would have seen the movie,
I guess. Yeah.
But there's the fans of it that know. It's just such a small percentage, but it's so critically acclaimed. Is why it gets so much buzz. It's like I don't know how many people were actually watching it that got it. I'm sure people tried it and then just tuned out.
Well, I like to think that the themes were universal enough that even someone not familiar with the movie or not familiar with the comic could watch it and get something out of it. But it was great.
So did we do it for TV?
Well, speaking of critically acclaimed comic book adaptations.
Oh, that's right.
The big thing happened.
You guys were looking forward to the big Crisis.
Crisis on Infinite Earths.
There was no hope for this world. No hope. No. It's time for me to die.
There's things we have to accept no matter how much it hurts.
I wish I was hopeful, like you.
Baby, I don't want to say goodbye.
My mistakes outweigh all the good I've ever done.
Find your mother. Tell her how much I love her.
The end of the world is licking at our heels!
They're gone.
And we're next. Every second, another Earth dies.
This threat brings the annihilation of all life.
Battle not with monsters, lest you become a monster. Even in the darkest times, hope is the light that lifts us out of darkness.
Let's go save the universe.
Keep riding the lightning.
Everyone has a part to play.
The multiverse needs you!
TikTok, Oliver!
It's not time! The battle is lost!
Now, this was going to be all the shows coming together?
CW does a crossover yearly, and it seems like they've been building to this. This was kind of the ultimate, especially in a year where we had Avengers Endgame.
Yeah.
This felt very like TV Endgame to me. So
I remember you guys showing, it was like Brandon Routh was coming back.
Yeah. Well, Brandon Routh is on Legends of Tomorrow.
Yeah.
He plays the Atom, but of course in
that's
Superman
right.
Returns, he played Superman, Clark Kent. So in this, he plays his normal role, but they bring him back as Kingdom Come Superman. So he plays the older Superman from the different Earth.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of talk about how many cameos were in this and how many versions of different characters we're going to see. So the hype was real for this. So and you're as a DC guy, you seem to be.
Yeah, I was really excited for this. And as they kept dropping names, I was like,
What other names were they dropping?
Well, I'll do all the. I got all the cameos listed. Okay. So. But before we get into real heavy spoiler territory, what's your overall?
And that was kind of the thing. The first 3 episodes, I was not into it. Like, it kind of just felt like a big cameo fest. And
it was very gimmicky.
It was, but the story felt very convoluted, and it was hard to kind of follow. And that may have been because I haven't been watching a lot of Flash. I haven't watched Arrow in several years. I kind of dropped off on Black Lightning after season 1. I like all these shows. It just becomes a time constraint. Yeah. And then if you try and watch like 5 of these shows a week, it just all feels like the same thing.
But the crossovers are usually the high point of the year.
Right.
So, and they don't usually have that, there's some backstory or some stuff, but it's rarely continuity heavy.
Right.
This one seemed a little bit more. So we're going to spoil all these fun surprises for Crisis. So if you haven't seen it
I love this
yet,
part because I don't have to watch this.
All right. First episode was Supergirl. We started out on Earth 89 in Gotham City. We had Robert Wuhl look up into the sky, who played Knox in the original Tim Burton Batman movie.
Okay.
Yep.
Jumped to Earth 9 in San Francisco. We saw the Titans from the streaming version.
DC Universe.
We saw Earth X and the Ray, which was the crossover from last year or the year before.
I think it was the year before.
Earth 66 Gotham. We had Mr. Burt Ward walking his dog.
Yeah. And he's decked out in like Robin colors.
Right, of course.
And as the skies turn red, we hear "Holy Crimson Skies of Death," which was very awkward. But again, you're torn between how neat and how dumb.
Yeah.
And it's a very tightrope you got to walk with this. So the last crossover ended. We learned Oliver Queen. I almost said Oliver North. He's not involved. Ollie Queen has to sacrifice himself.
He makes a deal.
He makes a deal with the Monitor, and his death will ensure his friends survive. Supergirl, Flash, all the friends. Because it's been foretold the Flash will disappear in the Crisis.
And in the comic, the original comic from way back in the day, Flash and Supergirl die.
Yes, so very famous deaths back when there weren't these huge momentous deaths every month. And it felt like the show was trying to reference the comics. Like it felt like it was trying to do that. So we had Argo was destroyed, which was where Superman and Lois Lane were.
That's what I thought. Argo, yourself.
This is the planet.
I love to make him edit things.
Superman's powers are gone, so he can raise his child.
So she could have the child. And,
right. So they launch a baby to save a super baby from Argo into space. They do the actual Marlon Brando dialogue from Superman. So we're seeing the stakes as this antimatter wave is destroying planet after planet, universe after universe. We get Harbinger and Pariah are two characters from the comics, which didn't really pay off much.
No.
It just seemed like we have to throw those in there. So Lila, who's from the Arrow show.
Yeah, Diggle's wife.
Diggle's wife was Harbinger, and Harrison Wells became Pariah. And then so in the first episode, Oliver sacrifices himself and dies. So Green Arrow dies in the first episode, which seemed like a shock. But I heard one of the producers said later, like, we spoiled it a year ago that Ollie was going to die. So the only way to shock you was to hurry up and do it.
Get it over with.
So they did. Then there was the Crisis Aftermath with Kevin Smith. They did like a Talking Dead show after the thing where he interviewed a bunch of people, and it was very fan servicey sort of thing. So episode 2 was the episode of Batwoman. We introduced the 7 Paragons. These are the 7 people who, if there's any hope for the multiverse, these people will save it. The Paragon of Hope was Kara, Supergirl. Paragon of Destiny was Sarah Lance from Legends. Paragon of Truth was Superman. And the Paragon of Courage, they called the Future Bat. So they had to go find Batman of the future. So they go to Earth 99, and we meet Kevin Conroy, the voice of the animated Batman, now in real life, wearing like a...
He was the Kingdom Come.
Right.
He had the like exosuit on.
Exoskeleton sort of thing. And he's a jerk.
Yeah, totally.
He's not Paragon of nothing. So we learned that Kate Kane is the future Bat.
Yeah.
Batwoman is the Paragon of Courage. We also had a few other little cameos. Earth 75, we had the death of Superman in Metropolis. Earth 167, we had the Smallville universe, Tom Welling and Erica Durance.
And I did like that.
I heard,
I wasn't sure how that was going to go, but
that was one of the longer ones of the cameos.
Yeah, of course, Smallville ran on the CW for 11 seasons or whatever. But, we're on the Kent farm, back on it, and Clark's there. Lex appears. We learn that, he's given up his powers, basically. And he has a family. Him and Lois, they brought back Erica Durance. They're married. They have a couple girls or something. But it had a neat little moment when Lex appears, and it's a different Lex. It's John Cryer.
Okay.
But because, as soon as he finds out he's Lex Luthor and, something needs, he kind of, like buffed up there for a minute. Like, I was just waiting for that Lois. I got to go take care of this. But I like that. So.
We had Earth 96 and Metropolis. This was the Brandon Routh as Kingdom Come. The background had a newspaper that had Alex Ross's art from the Kingdom Come series about what had happened, all the tragedies that had happened.
He's great. He is a great Clark Kent. Just outstanding. And he's huge now. I mean, because remember when you were kind of like poking fun at the regular Superman and how little he is.
Right.
You put that guy up against Brandon Routh,
sure.
and it's like, oh my Lord.
Then everybody gets what I'm saying.
And they grayed his temples and made him look a little older. Then we jumped to Earth 18 to North Dakota. We had Jonah Hex for some reason.
Yeah.
And a Lazarus pit, so they're going to try to bring Ollie back. They have his body. They're going to try to bring him back. And we finally meet the Anti-Monitor. Episode 3 was Flash. We got a Earth 203, New Gotham, the Birds of Prey show from many years ago.
From the 90s.
We had an actress from that. We had Earth 666 in Los Angeles. We learned Lucifer from the Fox series is now on Netflix. And there was a billboard, a little Easter egg with the Watchmen on it. So that's part of the multiverse too.
That little cameo had a huge following because that show has a cult following to it. So a lot of people were really tuning in. They were really excited that Lucifer was going to be, ingrained into the
from the Vertigo comics, but still part of the DC universe. So we learned the rest of the Paragons that Barry Allen is the Paragon of Love, John Jones is the Paragon of Honor, and we meet Ryan Choi, who in the comics becomes the Atom much later, is the Paragon of Humanity. He's just kind of the everyman. Yeah. He doesn't know why he's there or what he's involved in.
But we also know that Brandon Routh is leaving Legends, so this opens up the door to keep an Atom around.
We knew that?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay, then. We've introduced his replacement with a new Atom. So we visit Lucifer, and John Constantine goes there looking for Ollie's soul because in the Lazarus pit, his soul is gone. So they have to help. They throw in some dark magic sort of stuff. And then they jump to Earth 90, and John Wesley Shipp as the 90s Flash. He's trapped on some crazy cosmic treadmill, powering the antimatter cannon that destroyed Earth 2. It's just all mumbo jumbo.
Yeah, but it was cool to see him in the suit, the original suit from the 90s.
Looked like he probably could get winded running a lot.
Yeah.
Then we meet Jim Corrigan showed up as the Spectre, which has he ever been on these shows before? Any of these?
I wasn't sure if he was from the original NBC Constantine show. I felt
he
like
was he was never on that.
Then maybe he was exclusive to this.
So Jim Corrigan passes the mantle of the Spectre onto Ollie. So Oliver is now the new Spectre, which was a surprise to me. I didn't see it coming. Just as Earth 1, the last surviving Earth, is destroyed, they all get zapped to Vanishing Point, a place outside of space and time. And Brandon Routh was there, but Luthor snuck in instead.
He uses the Book of Destiny that he's been carrying around, and he rewrites it and puts himself there instead of Kingdom Come Superman.
So he short stops Superman, and we got Luthor as one of the Paragons, which was not supposed to work. So that is where we ended before Christmas on that cliffhanger.
Yeah.
We got a Stargirl trailer right after that, so that was kind of neat. We saw some footage of Stargirl, which got me excited. But so we had to wait till January for this conclusion, and they played them both on one night. Part 4 and 5 all played back to back.
Yeah.
Episode 4 was from Arrow. This episode was written by Marv Wolfman and Mark Guggenheim. So Wolfman is the original writer of the comics.
Right. And I enjoyed episode 4 and 5 a lot. I thought they were much better.
Yeah, the payoff to all this nonsense. Because I said this was everything. We ended with the multiverse destroyed.
Right.
Much like Endgame or Infinity War ended with everybody dead.
Yeah.
It's like, how are we going to fix this? So we had to wait a month to figure out how they're going to fix it. So we also had
Marv Wolfman
cameo. Yeah, he shows up and asks for an autograph. Which was kind of an awkward scene. But I liked him getting his little cameo. We get a little Stan Lee cameo. So those episodes start with a flashback. We get the origin to the Monitor. Ollie as the Spectre, I thought would be cooler.
Yeah.
He just kind of wore a hood. But he says, "Run, Barry, run," and you have failed this universe. It's like, oh no, what are we doing? But the biggest thing, Ezra Miller pops in.
Yeah, from the Justice League,
the movie Flash. In a very awkwardly set scene. So I read that they had wrapped filming.
Okay.
They had wrapped filming, and they said the first couple episodes were locked, and a soft lock, or they basically had the show done. And like the CW head guy calls up Guggenheim and says, "Hey, could you fit in Ezra Miller to do a cameo?" He's like, "I can absolutely do that. Whatever you want to do." So he calls Grant Gustin. He said, "I wanted to check with him to make sure he was okay with it." Because he didn't upstage him or something. Okay. He's like, yeah, he was totally on board. So they flew them both to Vancouver after the show was done. They said they had already taken apart the Arrow set, and like all the people had stopped working because that show's done.
Yeah.
It's like, so we had to shoot at Star Labs set for the Flash. It was just like, hurry up, do that. So it seemed very like, it almost seemed like they weren't in the same room when they filmed it. Like the way they shot it, it was kind of awkward.
But it surprised me. I didn't know that was coming. So I was like, this is pretty cool. And I was talking to Michael about it yesterday, I think, and we kind of both agreed that we really enjoyed that, and it was something, it finally, pulling the movies universe into the CW TV universe finally. I was like, that was pretty cool. I felt like it needed to be done.
And establishing all this other stuff as part of
right
the canon, so now this is too. At one point somebody says rebirth the universe, which was the rebirth in the comics world.
Yeah,
that's just an awkward way to say that, but it feels like a way to say, hey, remember the rebirth. So much like Endgame, Flash has to jump back through the Speed Force and all the memories of his teammates to kind of reassemble the team. It's like a kind of running through some of the greatest hits moments.
Yeah.
The Paragons have to do another Care Bear stare. They kind of, with all their power aligned, they kill Oliver a second time.
Yeah. Well, it didn't take the first time.
so just had another death. Like, okay, sorry.
He's got to fight the Monitor, or the Anti-Monitor, and
so that ends.
Sacrifice himself one more time.
Oh, Ollie did it. What's that up there? Well, it's a new, smaller universe. Dun, dun, dun. Next hour, episode 5, back to Legends, season premiere of DC's Legends tomorrow. It opens with Lex winning the Nobel Peace Prize. Everything's weird. We learn there's just one Earth. Mm-hmm. There's a Bebo attack, and Sargon the Sorcerer.
I loved it. Okay. That may have been my favorite moment, bringing Bebo back. That was a couple, was it 2 seasons ago, or was it last season?
It was a couple, because they've referenced it since then.
Yeah. When on Legends, they had to use the totems, whatever they were, to combine and form Bebo to save the timeline. And I love seeing Bebo back, because I thought that was one of my favorite Legends seasons. So
this last episode was basically like a half hour of the characters figuring out what everyone knew. That now
it's like the Martian Manhunter running from character to character to, does like a voodoo mind thing. And
so we now have one universe, one CW universe. Black Lightning, Supergirl, they're not all on different Earths now. It's all one thing. Much like the original Crisis comic.
Right.
Condensed the continuity and made it simpler.
Into one storyline.
Now CW has done the same thing. And the ones they showed specifically, Earth 2, we got a shot of the JSA.
Yep.
Earth 12, we got a shot of the Green Lantern Corps, which is going to be a HBO show, right?
Yeah, but they used footage from the Ryan Reynolds one, movie. So
Earth 19, we got a Swamp Thing from the streaming service. Another shot of Earth 9 and the Titans.
Mm-hmm.
Earth 21 and the Doom Patrol.
Yeah.
Having a dance part. Was that a scene from the series?
No,
that was all new footage?
That's just that show. Like, if you ever wanted just a tiny glimpse of a show, that was it.
And I got it. Earth 96, we got Brandon Routh as Superman again, flying into the cosmos.
That was actually a pretty cool moment. Mm-hmm. It's that famous Superman. 80s. The actor.
Christopher Reeve.
Yeah, Christopher Reeve. That famous shot of him coming, as the Earth is turning, him coming around it, and kind of gives that little wink, and in the classic Superman suit. It was great. Loved it.
So we learned that the CW Earth is now Earth Prime. And then we get a final scene of them at their new headquarters that looks remarkably like the
Hall of Justice.
The Hall of Justice from Super Friends.
Meanwhile,
they get a nice round table, or they all have a chair to sit in
with a little symbol on it, just like the Kenner toy I had.
They get their symbols. They start playing the music from Super Friends.
Yeah,
and there's a weird noise in the background. And there's a cage that's open.
Yeah,
a cage labeled Gleek, and a banana peel.
Gleek the space monkey.
So in the same interview, Guggenheim said, they asked if Gleek going to be, what show is Gleek going to be on? He's like, well, he's kind of a jump ball right now. Whoever wants to use him, if they want to do it, they can. So I don't think there's any concrete plans to actually have a Gleek. Oh man,
give me some Zan and Jaina. Form of an ice pick.
So again, it's like 5 hours to condense the CW down into one thing. It was fine. It was. I think hopes were real high for this crossover, and it didn't quite pay off for me. But I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it. That was the important thing. It was. It was something I was really like. This could be really good, or this could be really, really, really bad. And it turns out it was somewhere in the middle. So, but all our shows are, they're all connected now. Mm-hmm. It makes a lot more sense, and we can do more team-ups without trying to explain away how this character got from this world to that world. Right. So that's great. And in fact, there's even a little scene when right after the new universe is born, and Kara runs off to... There's a villain, doesn't matter who. And as she's just getting ready to stop the villain, the Flash shows up and says, "Oh, one of mine, sorry." And a guy comes up with a picture, and he says, "Oh, can I have your autograph?" And he's like, they're both like, "You know who they are?"
It's like, "What are you doing on my Earth?
Yeah.
What are you doing on my Earth?"
Yeah.
Oh, wacky.
So that's it. Crisis.
Yeah.
There's something very important I forgot to tell you.
What?
Don't cross the streams.
Islands in the stream, that is what we are.
Cross the streams.
Coach Mayor, you been watching anything on a streaming platform?
A few things, yeah. Marvelous Mrs. Maisel on Amazon Prime.
Your Honor, she's going on the road with Shy Baldwin. It's a huge thing.
And you're okay with this?
I am.
You both seem okay with everything.
We are. If they could see me now, that little gang of mine, I'm eating fancy chow and drinking fancy wine.
So 1960, an unmarried woman will take the pill so she can have as much sex as she wants.
I'd like those Stumbo bums to see for a fact.
And a married woman will just have a headache and call it a night.
This is the first of a million tours.
You ready? Off to the races.
Happy flight.
Well, it was your penis she was talking about, not mine.
I said I was drunk.
Tits up.
Tits on.
I know. Whoa! Remember the face!
I think the third season came out around Christmas time, so it's relatively new. This is a favorite of my wife. It's created and written by Amy Sherman Palladino, who very famously did Gilmore Girls, which is, of course has a big cult following. And this is a kind of an Emmy darling. It always wins a bunch of Emmys for acting and everything. So I don't know that a lot of people watch it, but
I watched it. I've watched them all.
Emmys, yeah.
Rachel Brosnahan was on. I think first place I saw her was on House of Cards. She was on there, a very small role, but
this was good. It had had some newer Sterling K. Brown you mentioned earlier. He was on this season. Jason Alexander had a small role, which was weird. You don't see him too often. And Jane Lynch, her role was a little expanded this year. She was good, but I mean, it's you can see what people like about it. It's if you like those kind of period pieces, it's good.
This is like one of the Amazon's biggest shows, right?
Oh yeah. It just wins award after award. It's good. It's just good binging TV to sit there and watch it. It's like it's so costumed, of the time. Like whoever's doing that, they very intricate. For every scene. You can just
look at every scene. It just looks amazing.
It's really good.
Yep. I also talk about old shows. We started watching The Crown on Netflix. Which,
I really enjoyed season 1.
Yeah,
but I never really just got back around to finish it.
Listen, the royals are in the news right now. Okay, we've got Harry, and Meghan. Got all kind of problems going on over there, so we were in the mood to get some royal drama, and this provided it. So I said I've never cared about the royal family, but as I was watching this, I turned to my wife. I said, "I get it. Mm-hmm. They're just like us. All their problems, they're just like us." No, it's great. Very well done. I think the 3rd season of that just came out a couple months ago. So.
I watched some stuff on Netflix.
What you're about to see is a children's TV special, and I made it on purpose.
John Mulaney and the Sack Lunch Bunch. Did anybody else check this out?
I signed back up for Netflix.
Oh my gosh!
For the next 20 some days, I have Netflix. So it's in my queue.
Is it kid friendly? I was confused. Should I watch it with my kids or not? I
don't know. Your kids got scared when I let you borrow a card game.
It's true.
Can I ask a question? What's the tone of the show? Is it ironic, or do you like doing a children's show?
We talk a lot about that. That's the $1 million question.
This is him and his kid pals tackle existential topics. And they have catchy songs and comedy sketches. I mean, it is a mix of stupid comedy sketches like any other of these sketch things. Some of it's dumb, but some of it really is, it is them talking with kids about some serious things that's commenting. They'll have in between some sketches, just kids talking to the camera about things they worry about and things, and just speaking frankly, they worry about dying or just where it would be just an awkward thing for a kid to say, I'm about drowning and it's the scariest thing ever and stuff. It's I don't know if you want to have your kids start thinking about that stuff, but it's just being realistic about we all worry about things, and facing it head on instead of glossing over everything. So it's got an interesting take on that. I like that. It was just talk about it, I like John Mulaney. I also watched, I mentioned this briefly a couple episodes ago, but I wanted to zero in on it here for a second. Don't F with Cats on Netflix. It's just another true crime show. This only goes 3 episodes, so it's a 3-hour investment.
Is it about cats?
Oh, yeah. For a few minutes.
Oh.
Basically, the premise being that, as one of the women says, you can do about anything you want on the internet, but you don't F with cats, or the equivalent. You don't hurt an animal. People hate that. Some people can't watch a movie or anything if they've never seen John Wick because the dog died. They can't handle that kind of stuff. So, basically, it just starts off with some guy puts out a video that he hurts some cats, and it's very disturbing. But that doesn't last a long time. So if that's stopping you, that's not, they don't dwell on that forever. But basically this has happened for other things where they started a Facebook group. These people were mad and they were going to catch this guy by investigating what they could see in the video and using those clues to try to track this guy down. And it goes places you never would believe, and that is why it qualified to be made into this show. It was one of the more amazing true crime things I've ever seen, and I highly recommend it. It's so short, Jared, you said you watched it.
We watched it on your recommendation, and it was not a fun watch.
No.
I would say it's extremely disturbing, but yeah, it's fascinating, and you're never quite sure what's going to happen next. And it's certainly if you're a fan of the true crime genre, check it out because
it's a must watch. If you like that kind of stuff, this is right exactly what you want. The last thing I would say I watched on Netflix, I haven't heard. I've seen some things online, people saying, but I haven't seen people. I expected to see Facebook stuff about it. There's something called Cheer. Has anybody heard of Cheer?
I have heard of it.
Yeah. This is who I thought would maybe have heard of it. I could see your wife watching that, or Carly or something. I mean, I liked it, and it's just one of those addictive things where you're just like, okay, I'll watch the next one. It's just about a cheer team. It's like one of the best junior college cheer team. Is a community college, but they're all about their cheer squad. And it's just these amazing Alex P. Keaton level athletes. I'm gonna use that great reference again. No one will get. But it's Navarro College. I don't even remember where they were stationed, but it's just they had won the national championship the previous year, and they're going for it again. And it's just they have recruits from all over come there, and you watch them getting their routine ready, and you're like, are you ever going to have this ready, you guys? This person. Anyway, it's just.
Did you get upset when the one girl got hurt there at the end, and was she going to make it back on?
I couldn't. Have you seen it? Because
I have not.
There's so many people that got hurt. I couldn't even tell you. All I know is Jerry's the best. Everybody loves Jerry, and that's the big takeaway. But it was good. It was just like any kind of documentary like that, where you're watching a sports team or something get ready for the championship, and are they going to win it? And watching people perform at a really high level in anything is interesting.
I'll say along those lines, I'll just throw out a movie that's streaming on Disney Plus that my family and I just watched last week. Was Free Solo, the documentary. And
it was very high on my list last year.
Did it win an Oscar maybe for best documentary?
I believe so.
But it's about the
El Capitan,
rock climber who climbs without ropes, which is what they call free solo. But my wife who hates heights, couldn't watch half the movie, but I convinced her to check it out because I thought he was a fascinating guy, and just watching him prepare for it was pretty good. So yeah, it's on Disney Plus if you have that, and highly recommend it.
Yeah, excellent. I drove Columbus to see that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I previously mentioned, speaking of Disney Plus, the new Aladdin movie's on there. It's very good. I talked to these guys, I think, a couple weeks ago. I mentioned maybe that, or a week ago, that I sat down one night and we watched The Apple Dumpling Gang. It's really good. Still, great family movie. Kids enjoyed it. And then we sat down again and we watched Flight of the Navigator, which was a classic movie from my childhood. Came out in 1986, about a boy that gets abducted by aliens in 1978 and does not age. And then the alien puts him back where he found him, but it's 8 years later. His brother and family and everybody is grown up, and then he goes on this flight in the alien ship with Pee Wee Herman, and
I know the title.
Pretty great. So I enjoyed that on Disney Plus. My wife still, I tell you, I think she watches more National Geographic programs than anything on that
And
service.
They keep putting out episodes of The World According to Jeff Goldblum. I thought it was going to be a short little thing.
No, yeah.
Every Friday there's another one. I don't know how many of these things he made.
I watched that the RV episode you were talking about.
Oh yeah,
where he goes to where somewhere in Indiana where they manufacture 80% of RVs or whatever, and there's a bunch of Amish employees there, and he's asking them, "Oh, hey, you know that song? You see this movie? It was great."
Yeah, because they pull out in the RV. He's like, "Get your motor running." Oh, you know that song? The Amish guy's like, "No." What? You've never seen Easy Rider?
Nope.
Like, no, I haven't.
Yeah, he had no idea what an Amish person was. But yeah, I do. I love that show. It's great.
I love the moment. I think it's in the tattoo episode where he's like, they're having a whole function. It's like Jeff Goldblum Day or whatever. And they're all in there getting tattoos, and he goes in and surprises them. It's so great. And he's like, it's just where one of those where you're somewhere everybody knows who you are. And it's like in another scene a few minutes later, he's outside and somebody looks over at him. He's like waving at him or whatever, and he's like, "Oh, they have no idea." It's like it really depends where you're at. It's just funny.
Yeah. So I streamed a movie. It was on Hulu, so I'm not sure what the source was through Hulu, but what the exact channel it was on. But my wife found it. It was called Instant Family. I thought this was going to be horrible.
Marky Mark.
Yeah.
Rose Byrne.
It wasn't bad, though.
I heard it wasn't bad.
It wasn't bad at all. It was kind of sweet. And they play a married couple that they flip houses, that type of thing. They have no children, and they suddenly decide they're kind of talked into becoming, they're like, well, let's become foster parents and get some kids. And
yeah, I heard it was pretty good.
It wasn't too bad.
Did we do it?
I think we did.
All right, so we with the release of a movie we are going to see very soon, we decided to do a one job.
One job forever?
Look, I have one job on this lousy ship. It's stupid, but I'm gonna do it, okay?
You tosser! You had one job to do!
You put out a poll, right, on our
super secret page.
So if you are a patron or would like to be one, $1 a month gets you access to our patron only Facebook page. We did have someone apply.
Yeah, so
try to be a member. And
he didn't have $1.
No dollar. You're not getting in.
Sorry. So if you're out there listening, sorry but we rejected you because the rules are strict. So if you're a patron, not only do you get a bunch of extra audio and some fun behind the scenes bits, you get to vote for our one job. So we put out a poll ahead of time, so we've got a few of our patrons share their opinion. It's got a little much. I think they're overstepping their bounds just a tad, but
I like this. Coach Mayor does not patronize us.
He doesn't give us a
totally in the dark.
I keep remembering that I have not.
Yeah, just being a guest on the podcast does not get you access. It's the most exclusive club.
I brought $1 worth of cupcakes.
It wasn't even summer. It's a great joke. Anyway, so what are we doing?
We're going to do Mike Lowry himself, Will Smith.
That's right, because of the release of Bad Boys for Life. And so what was your choices you put on the poll?
Movie star. I mean, there's not a lot of movie stars in this day and age. A-list,
leading man
for a long time.
Overrated. Oh, sorry.
Cliff, are you on the page there?
No.
No, you're just texting.
No, I'm just scrolling.
Oh, do you need us to look? I can look real quick here.
Okay. So he's right on that.
So obviously, rose to prominence in the hip-hop world as a rapper. Known as the Fresh Prince.
Sure, that's where the world found out about
him.
Would
that count as a job?
Yes.
Yeah.
We added that. If you want to talk, if you want to use his music career as his most defining. Yeah, if you're unfamiliar, this is the segment where we pick a person's defining job. Their one job you'd put on their tombstone as the most influential thing they did, or the best thing they did, or the most emblematic of their whole career. If they just got one shot at it, this is what you want to remember him by.
Jordan collected a few of the more well-known things that he'd done, so he had him on a choice there as musician. Also, you had him for some movie roles. Hancock. He was John Hancock on there. Muhammad Ali and Ali. Mike Lowry in Bad Boys. Robert Neville in I Am Legend. Stephen Hiller in Independence Day. Jay in Men in Black. Del Spooner in iRobot. He also had Other. And then in his TV role as the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Well,
so
we'll discuss
one of the
this
biggest
in a minute.
sitcoms of all. A huge, influential music career.
Right.
One of the biggest sitcoms of all time.
Right.
The winner of our sitcom
theme
song list. So an immortal theme song that he performed.
Right.
And then went on to be a huge movie star for decades. So you think this might be easy? I don't know. Maybe not.
I don't know.
Has not been nominated for 2 Oscars. He was nominated for Ali and for The Pursuit of Happiness. So two award-worthy films.
I was trying to think of that movie. Yeah, what the name of that movie was.
Yeah. So I'll list off some of his movie roles here. Let's see. Because it's, again, every time we do this, we think, is this really all they... You always feel like there's going to be more really big things that were great. And instead, I always feel like I'm reading off a list of mediocre things. Anyway, so he was in Bright. There's 3 Bad Boys movies. That's big. Spies in Disguise recently... Wild Wild West, he famously chose over The Matrix after being offered that role. You said Ali. There was also Concussion was a movie he did. Enemy of the State with Gene Hackman. That's a good one. Collateral Damage or something. Was that something? Or Collateral Beauty. Oh, that's a terrible movie. Don't watch. 7 Pounds. Isn't that on the... It's like the weight of your soul or something when you die. After Earth, that terrible M. Night movie.
Oh, yeah.
Gemini Man. That
had a few duds.
Yeah.
We all have.
Ang Lee's Gemini Man that was supposedly terrible this year. Nobody liked. Shark Tale. Focus with Margot Robbie was pretty good. I liked that movie. Hitch. That's a movie.
That's a popular movie.
That's one of those that people have seen 1,000 times on Saturday afternoon. Like you said, you mentioned Hancock. I always like that more than most people. It seems like it's kind of an oddball movie, but I enjoyed that. Isn't Jason Bateman in that? Is that correct? I'm going to say yes.
You have strong opinions on Hancock.
I have strong opinions.
I want to talk. This is your moment.
I only saw that movie once.
Yes.
And I remember coming away thinking, like, the first 40 minutes of that movie, it was shaping up to be the greatest movie of all time. And then, like, the last 45 minutes were so dumb that I hated it by the end.
Oh, okay. It's been a long time since I saw it.
It's like, it starts, he's, like, drunk and he just hates everyone, but he's like Superman. He has like Superman powers. And I thought, what a brilliant idea! Like, have this very unlikable guy that has superpowers, and it's like a smart new kind of take on a superhero tale. And he was great in it. And I just remember by the end, it was like they turned. Wasn't Charlize Theron into that?
Yes.
Like her and Jason Bateman, they turned into time traveling superheroes who were like flying through the city, knocking down buildings. And it made no sense to me. Maybe I dreamed it. I don't know. Someone needs to tell me, but
I don't remember that.
I swear that's how that movie
ended. They become
ended.
time traveling superheroes.
They were like super villains, and they traveled through time, and it made no sense, and I hated it.
I think you had a dream.
Maybe I hallucinated that. But I came away thinking how great he was in that movie and how good that movie could have been.
Yeah, I remember liking that. It got very serious towards the end, and I remember liking that about it. And that,
yes, she's a amnesiac immortal Yeah.
Oh, then they tried to explain how he got his powers or something, where it's something that did not need to be explained.
Oh, yeah, and the mortals had to pair up so they wouldn't lose their powers. It's like, what?
Okay.
It just started off as like this great kind of dark comedy of about a superhero who was a terrible guy.
Yeah.
And it was like, I don't know what the heck happened after that, so...
They put I remember they put like some sort of mark on the moon or something. They branded the moon with like this heart or something like that. It was weird.
It went off the rails. That's what I'm saying.
Anyway, it was in all the first 3 Men in Black movies, which that's one of the biggest things he ever did. Then like you said, I, Robot, Pursuit of Happiness, Independence Day was huge. I Am Legend I really enjoyed that. Suicide Squad, more recently. Aladdin.
It looks like he had a run 95. He did Bad Boys. 96 Independence Day. 97 Men in Black. This was when he was like the biggest movie star in the world. You know, those were the big roles. 98 was Enemy of the State, which that's a good one. People know. And 99 Wild Wild West. So.
And I just think that
all came crashing.
That's right. He just made some bad choices there, because he was never anything that I felt was like great.
He's always watchable though. Like he elevates whatever he's in. He's always entertaining. I like him.
Because to think he didn't do The Matrix, which I'm glad, because I feel like maybe it wouldn't have been what it was. They said that when he was offered the role, Morpheus was going to be Val Kilmer, and then when they gave it to Keanu, they switched it. But then Quentin Tarantino wrote Django Unchained for him, and he didn't take it. And Jamie Foxx did a great job. It's just like, are you stupid? I just feel like he doesn't want to push himself.
He's but he places. Also I just watched him on.
He's a brand.
Seth Meyers or something recently. He's out promoting Bad Boys, and he's verging on that kind of Tom Cruise thing where he has a very phony. Hey, I'm just here to have fun, guys. Like there's a weird artificialness about him. It doesn't.
Yeah, there's something they share in common.
No, I wasn't gonna mention it
for litigation purposes.
Well, yeah, they're listening.
They're always listening.
Yeah, but it doesn't. To me, it doesn't. They're a brand.
Where Tom Cruise translates to the screen, I see that kind of phoniness on the screen. I never said it with Will Smith. Like he's always really watchable in anything.
Anyway, what are you guys thinking?
Well, what was the result of the poll?
Well, are we giving them any hype yet?
Yeah, we got to give their opinions.
They went through a whole thing. They might as well have made out. Oh, are they listening to this?
Well, they're patrons. They paid for it. They better
be. I don't remember. What'd they say? Let's see. Justin Lowe, famous silver level patron, he's got to go with the music career. Yeah. He's the DJ, dropped in 88. The genre was dark and hard and street. And he goes on, and it just NWA was very, very dark. And this was lighthearted. You didn't have to. You could have a sense of humor.
Man, remember those old videos? Parents Just Don't Understand, and all those.
Of course.
Like, his videos were, they were appointment viewing.
Oh, trust me. Jesse Starcher got it on. We don't want to tell the reveal. We try to keep the patron stuff secret. So,
but they know this is
you can
going
talk
out.
Freely, huh?
They know this is going out.
Oh, okay. So
because the poll is public.
Okay, Justin Lowe, man. That's where Jesse first discovered. He went back to Rock the House, got every album up to Code Red. He changed his vote twice, so he didn't know what to do.
Jesse was a little bit on the fence with this one, I think.
Yeah. Nightmare on My Street. Yeah. I think I could beat Mike Tyson. Come on. Yo, Jazzy Transform. So they both voted, it looks like, for
the rapper.
The Fresh Prince.
Yeah.
Rapper. Musician version.
And not the show,
the musician.
Yeah. I mean, hip hop and that like it was still not a real mainstream thing. He helped. He helped the whole genre become as successful as it is.
Oh, there was a point on MTV where I think every half hour you could have watched Parents Just Don't Understand.
Yeah. What are you guys thinking?
I'll throw a little love out there for a couple that you mentioned that aren't going to be there at the end, but that I like. One's iRobot. I like that version.
Okay.
Much like Jordan, it's anti-robot, so I'm gonna like it.
Right.
And I Am Legend. I was
a
fan of that.
Yeah, I like that.
And he's really good in that
Yeah.
too, because that whole movie it's just him and a dog. Talking about dog, people can't watch movies where like dogs die and stuff. But he's really great, and I don't know that it's a great movie, but he's really great. And
I feel like that. Yeah, I feel like the movie could have been a lot better. But he was I had both those written down as well as just kind of starring roles that elevated, very basic sci-fi sort of premise.
Stop! Look, I can save you. I can help you. You are sick, and I can help you. I can fix this. I can save everybody. I can fix this. It's working.
And I said two Oscar nominees. Ali's a good movie, but I couldn't say it's a one I'd rewatch. Happiness, it's sort of that almost seemed like I'm gonna get an award for this. Like it was him trying really hard.
It's a tearjerker.
It's fine. It's not a bad movie
like
by any
that movie.
stretch, but
I like Independence Day.
That's what you get. Look at you. Ship all banged up. Who's the man? Huh? Who's the man? Wait till I get another plane. I'm lining all your friends up right beside you. Where you at, huh? Huh? Where you at? Welcome to Earth.
I remember going to the theater and it was a huge hit and really liking that movie, but I don't think
It's not like he was some. It's not as.
It's more of an ensemble,
right?
But he was such a breakout from that movie. Like
that.
Welcome to Earth. Yeah, that's the quote of that movie.
and that was his. He did Bad Boys before that, but that was an R-rated. Not as many people saw that.
And he was
obviously.
second billed to Martin Lawrence, and
so
he was not the
Day
star.
was kind of his
that shot him off into stardom. Yeah.
Personally, Bad Boys is my one of my top 10 movies of all time. Bad Boys 2, not so great. Hopefully, Bad Boys 3 is amazing, but
we'll see tomorrow.
Yeah, him as Mike Lowry, the way he bickers with Martin Lawrence, there's nothing better. But that's just a personal choice. I don't know if I could say that for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
I feel the same way about Independence Day. Iconic, like that was the biggest movie for a long time. And same with Men in Black. Like he owned that. Him in that suit and the sunglasses and the clicker thingy. Like that was pop culture back then. Like that was iconic instantly.
Yeah, I would almost say because you could kind of look at Independence Day and Men in Black as kind of those were the two kind of big ones for him. But to me, Independence Day, you think about the Bill Pullman speech, maybe you think about Goldblum, but like Men in Black, because Tommy Lee Jones is very stoic in that movie and he's great, but that movie is all Will Smith energy and everything he's doing in that. So I would almost put maybe Men in Black above Independence Day.
What's so funny, Edwards?
Your boy Captain America over here. The best of the best of the best, sir. With honors. He's just really excited and he has no clue why we're here. That's very funny to me. Y'all ain't laughing though.
Yeah, those movies never did much for me.
Any love for the TV?
It's the TV show. I'm just gonna say it's the TV show for me. From the minute I saw what you said, Will Smith, I was like, well, it's the Fresh Prince. I think it was that show was on for quite a while, I think it was must-see TV at the time, and I just think from 90s sitcom-y shows, I think he was great. It wasn't buffoonery all the time. It had, good laughs in it, had a good cast, but he really drove the show. It was an innovative thing to take this rapper from Philadelphia that had never acted in his life. And I watched a commentary or something, an interview with Will Smith one time, and they went back to like the first episode, the pilot episode, and he's like, look at me. He's like, look how bad I am. Look at my lips. If you look close enough, you can see me. He memorized everybody's lines, and then as they were saying it, he was like saying it himself under his breath. So that was the show that made him an actor. That's where he learned how to be an actor, and he was good in it. And there were, I was a kid, but there were several episodes that I remember, kind of being like, oh, that's pretty serious.
If you drop the "Why didn't he want me, man" scene right here, I'd probably vote for it right now, man.
Yeah, very famous, with his deadbeat dad. Yeah. He thought was gonna finally come back and be a part of his life.
And it's not unimportant what a crossover success he was. As a hip hop artist, he has one group of fans, but as a sitcom star, is a whole different thing. You have to appeal to every demographic.
Sure.
And again, at that time, even today, there's not a ton of African American movie stars of his caliber, if there ever was or will be. But he appealed to everybody. He was a clean, wholesome, clean-cut, funny kid who just had charm out the wazoo. And it was you could argue, he was safe. He was a safe choice. He wasn't really controversial. He was a clean rapper. All his lyrics were sanitary. So I don't know, what the argument is there, but it's there's something to be said for how he crossed all these platforms and all this all the demographics.
Right. I think at the expense of having any edge, though. I just thought I think when I think what my choices would be, of his movies, Bad Boys is probably the closest to being anywhere near my top 100. But not because of him as much as Martin Lawrence. He was just better in that to me. I love that movie, and I think I probably like him the best in I Am Legend. Like I said, that's probably the edgiest thing I could think of he's been in, that it was gritty, and then. But then I think the TV series...
the importance of that show... I know it's a sitcom from the 90s.
Hey, you don't have to...
But do we get...
No, there's no guilt for sitcom love.
Do we get an iced tea on SVU? Do we get...
That's what's the most important.
God, do we get Ice Cube as a movie star? It kind of all started with Will Smith.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you guys, what do you lock? You're locked in at Bad Boys?
No, I said that's just my personal favorite, but I said I don't know if that's his.
Yeah, looking at the movies, I would say Bad Boys is my favorite movie role of his, but you could convince me to go with Fresh Prince TV show. I would. I'd hop on that.
I couldn't go. I like that movie the best, but not as the best thing he's ever done.
And it's weird, like Independence Day and Men in Black, when those were first out, I watched those over and over again. I really loved those movies. But I haven't paid any attention to them since. So I don't know. It's hard to pick you can't understand how important they were then, but I don't know if they are.
Yeah. I'm gonna just lock in with the TV show because it is the thing I associate with him the most. He is the that whole run of that show and that theme song,
and I'm with Justin and Jesse in the fact that I owned a bunch of Will Smith albums too. I did. I really liked his stuff, but
I had the Getting Jiggy With It CD single, if that counts.
But I loved all that stuff too, and it was important.
Get that for your birthday.
I had to play it on the band bus or something. For some reason, I had to have that song. For some reason, I can't remember.
Gosh, you were still
because it was the millennium, and that's what we were
say. You were still in high school when that came out. Oh my gosh!
Maybe not.
It was like 99
Was
or
it?
2000. Well, no, yeah, you correct. No, it was 99.
I'm 40.
That's true. I'm a man. I'm 40.
I'm a man. I'm 40.
We're getting off track because we're old.
Oh, okay.
So we went with the show.
The most important thing is that the patrons never get their way.
Yeah, so far they get nothing but a big makeout.
What do they have to show for their hard-earned dollar is the question. I'll go with you guys. I'll vote Fresh Prince television.
Let's make it unanimous.
Unanimous.
Plus, it gave DJ Jazzy Jeff a recurring role.
Yeah.
So he doesn't leave his friends out in the cold.
Oh, so historically on the list, we're going with Will from the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I don't even know what his last name was on there.
Banks? No.
Yeah.
They
were the Banks family.
Yeah, it wasn't his last name.
I ain't need him then and I don't need him now.
Will.
Nah, you know what, Uncle Phil? I'm gonna get through college without him. I'm gonna get a great job without him. I'm gonna marry me a beautiful honey, and I'm having me a whole bunch of kids. I'm gonna be a better father than he ever was. And I sure as hell don't need him for that, because ain't a damn thing he could ever teach me about how to love my kids. How come he don't want me, man?
Anyway, we'll just put Will on his tombstone.
Yo home,
Fresh
Mr.
Prince.
Bel-Air.
That's right. I want to know whatever happened to that cab driver. Like, what? What's his story?
The cab driver was Quincy Jones.
Oh, okay. That's right. Okay, we did it.
All right, so you've listened to this and us prattle on for a good while now tonight. But before we go, share over social media. If you have a viral tweet, maybe mention us. Just say, hey, come check out this cool podcast.
It can happen at any time.
When the next person dies, you
be ready.
Take advantage of that situation to promote.
Be on the
this
ready.
podcast.
That's right. Have a photo ready. And tell them www.udownwithkpp.com.
Can we double check that address?
I'm pretty sure that's the correct
Okay, good.
address. At the Ka-Pow podcast on the said Twitter.
I didn't use that account for my viral tweet.
Ain't that always the way?
Podbean, Google Play, Google Podcast, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio,
YouTube,
Spotify,
Maybe.
YouTube. Check us out. We got our own channel. We got some videos up. And Facebook. If you pay $1, become a patron, you can be on the secret Facebook.
Yeah,
we love it. We I do want to say to Jesse, Justin, keep it up. I loved seeing you guys say. I was like, listen, look, this is happening in our house. Our kids, look at them go. It's so good.
Yeah, if you like our regular Facebook page, you got to come to the secret page. It's a whole.
People really let their hair down on there.
All right, thank you for joining us once again, Jared.
Thank you for having me.
And we will be back shortly. My name is Jordan Lowe.
Cliff Barnes.
I'm Seth. Bye forever.
Ka-Pow, the pop culture podcast, is intended for entertainment and information purposes only. Sounds, music, and clips played during the podcast are property of copyright holders. All original content is property of www.udownwithkpp.com.